Okay, so once again, good morning. Our topic for today is about secure web use. It is very important actually, no, for us to know about on how we'll be able to secure web use, no. So in this topic, we are looking forward to identify secure websites. We need to be aware of farming. We validate digital certificate, understand appropriate setting for allowing and blocking cookies, and understand types and purpose of content control software. So again, when we say web browsing, there are a range of security considerations that you should keep in when browsing and carrying out transaction online. So we need to identify secure website. So whenever you are asked to provide sensitive information on a website, you need to be able to identify if the page is secure or not. So in particular, online activities such as online shopping or financial transactions should only be undertaken on a secure web pages. So for us, to understand more about secure web page, let us all welcome our presenter. Okay, or presenters. Take it away.
Good morning, sir. Good morning, classmate. By the way, this is our report. Our topic is all about secure web use. So I'm John Mark Bahas, and my partner is Ruben Martino. So first, before we proceed to our main topic, let first identify what is website security. Ruben, hello. Basically, website security is any action or application taken to ensure that the website or data is not exposed to cyber criminals or to prevent exploitation of website in any way. When we say cyber criminals, these are the person who engages to in criminal activity by means of computer or the internet. The best example of these are those hackers. And also when we say exploitation, exploitation is an action or fact threatening someone unfairly in order to benefit from their work. Also yun. The next one is our main topic, the secure web use. When we say secure web use, Ruben, sorry Sarah, may sakit kasi ito eh. Hello? Hindi po ba ako?
Yes, go ahead.
Sorry po may ano po kasi si Ruben eh, may sakit po siya. So, ewan ko lang kung narinig niya ako. So, continue ko na. By the way, secure web use is generally secure website use encryption and authentication standards to protect confidentiality of web transactions. Currently, the most commonly used protocol for web security is TLS or Transport Layer Security. This technology is still commonly referred as to SSL or the Secure Socket Layer predecessor to TLS. So when we say encryption, this is the process of converting information or data into a code, specifically to prevent unauthorized access. So basically, we use encryption to protect our sensitive information that we transmitted online. When we say ano naman, authentication, this is the process of or action of providing showing someone to be true, genuine, or valid. The process or action of verifying the identity of the user or the process. Then after that,
Next, and
ayan,
TLS,
sige Ruben.
Transport Layer Security. The Transport Layer Security is next mo tol. A widely adopted secure protocol designed to facilitate privacy and data security of communication over the internet. A primary use case of TLS is encrypting the communication between web application and servers, such a web browsers loading a website.
So yun, ito pong TLS or the Transport Layer Security is one of the security that we use in a secure web use. Ayun. Then, ano ba ang ginagawa ng Transport Layer Security or the TLS?
Transport Layer Security or TLS is an interruption protocol that protects data when it moves between computers. When two computers send data, they agree they agree to encrypt the information in a way in a way they both understand.
So yun, ito po yung picture, bali ito yung nagre-represent ng TLS or the Transport Layer Security. So, ang ginagawa po niya is ini-encrypt niya yung mga private ano natin para ma-protect sa sensitive sensitive ayun. The next
Next,
one is
what is secure web connection? A secure web connection is a connection that is encrypted by one or more security protocols to ensure the security of data flowing between two or more nodes.
so when we say node, it is the connection point inside the network that can receive or send or create or store the data. So yun. After that, we have here the
O ano nagagawa ng
so what
what
do secure website do?
HTTPS prevent inter interception and interruption from occurring while the content is in the transit. For you to create a secure online connection, your website also need an SSL certificate.
So when we talk about the secure web views, dito papasok na rin yung SSL or the secure ayun, SSL or the certificate. So ang ginagawa ng SSL is to secure those information, for example, our credit card transaction, the data transfer, and logins, and more is becoming the norm of securing browser of the media sites. The next one is how can we secure data on web? So basically, we can secure our website by following the website security best practices such as the website firewall, using the latest version of the website CMS plugins, themes, and third-party services. Enforcing strong password requirements, only granting the type of access that someone needs to accomplish a task. So yun, pwede na natin ma-secure yung pwede tayong maging secure sa paggamit ng web by simply following the instructions. So having a firewall, using strong password, something like that. So lastly, we have here the best defense from those hackers or these are some tips for security tips. The first one is to use strong password. The second one is two-factor authentication. The third one is always use secure networks. Number four, use more than or one email address. And lastly, be cautious about posting your email address online. That's all, sir. Sorry for be prepared. Yun lang po, sir. Sorry.
Okay, so again, wait for a while. Okay, so in addition with the discussions about the security or secure web use, of course, so we need to consider the diagrams that shows how a typical farming attack is carried out. No? Now, again, so again, as I mentioned earlier, the most important things that we need to consider is the way on how we will be able to secure our or on how we'll be able to identify the secure website. Now, whenever you ask to provide sensitive informations, okay, on a website, you need to be able to identify if the page is secure or not. So in particular, online activities such as online shopping or financial transactions should only be undertaken on secure web page. No? So again, there are two commonly used indications that a web page is secure. Okay, take note of it. Number one, the URL starts with HTTPS. Take note of it, class. No? So the URL or web page addresses start with the letters HTTP. However, over a secure connection, the address displayed should start with HTTPS, indicating that a secure connection has been established between your computer and web server. So always, if you open a website, see to it that it start with HTTPS. Now, another one is a lock icon is displayed. No? So I'll try to open a web page, no? For example, to show you an example of a secure example is just try to check if data privacy is secure. Okay. So yes, data privacy that is https www.privacy.gov.ph. No? And there are some private company using lock icon. So this will be an example. I will show you the example of a lock icon. And I think at least you also encounter this type of a lock, no? Okay, this one, no? The other one, no? There is a you have HTTPS at the same time. There is a lock icon here at the right side, no? Right after your address. Now they have a lock icon. Okay. Now, I think that our presenter discussed about farming. No? In a farming scam, a victim's computer or server is infected with malicious code that redirects them to bogus website. I don't know if somebody who are now using Axie. No? So some of the Axie users encountered bogus website. No? It is a similar to phishing in that it uses fake or spoofed website to collect confidential data. However, in farming, the victim is redirected to a bogus site even if they have entered the correct web address. So one way a farming attack is carried is by using DNS poisoning. No? In a DNS poisoning attack, the domain name system table in a server is modified so that users are automatically redirected to fraudulent site. No? So a while ago, I show you the diagram about how typical farming attack is carried out. No? So this one. Okay, so this will be the typical farming attack, no, diagram. So as you can see here, this will be the user. We have a fake website, the website itself, and the DNS server, the local or SIP, then the attacker. Take note of it. Now, the attacker, no, targets a DNS service, for example, one hosted by an ISP, and the attacker changes the IP address of a website to the IP address of a web server that contains a fake version of the website. A user wants to go to the website and types the address in the web browser. So the user computer queries the DNS server for the IP address of the website. Because the DNS server has already been poisoned by the attacker, it returns the IP address of the fake website to the user's computer. So the user's computer now interprets the poison reply to be the correct IP address of the website. And the user has now been tricked into visiting the fake website controlling by the attacker instead of the original website. So therefore, the
Mukha ni Allen kayo yung prop namin.
fake website, no, controlled, no, by the attacker can get your data and information. Now, how about the digital certificate? A while ago, our presenter also discussed about the digital certificate. It is an electronic document, no, issued by a certification authority that establishes a website credentials. The certificate contains the name, and a serial number, expiration dates, a copy of the certificate holder's public key, of course, used for encrypting messages and digital signatures, and the digital signatures of the certificate issuing authority, so that as recipient can check that the certificate is real. So how to do that and how to know that? So I will share again the sample of this one. So to view a digital certificate, click on the lock icon in the web browser address bar. So this one, no? Then after that, click on the view certificate link. Then it display like this. Then you could able to see the issued to, issued by, valid from. Then click OK. Okay. So that is for digital certificate. The popular authorized certificate retailers are VeriSign, SafeCert, Taute, and GoDaddy. Of course. I always using GoDaddy actually with my different website. No. Now, the one-time password, no, the one-time password or the OTP is a type of password that is valid for only one transaction or login session. This type of password can only be used once within a limited period of time, usually lasting a few minutes or 2 minutes, no, 1 in 45 seconds, and so on. No? Unlike traditional static password, even if a hacker is able to record the one-time password, it cannot be reused since it will no longer be valid once the unauthorized user logs into the system. So one-time password are commonly required for online banking transaction. So maybe if those who are using an online transaction, banking online transaction, sometimes you will be able to receive a notification, no? For example, 989531 is your code for Microsoft verification, and so on. Another way of getting an OTP is using a security device, such as, of course, generate a random PIN that acts as a second level of authentication. So, setting autocomplete options. So, a browser autocomplete functions will save any words typed into browser fields and then suggest matches when you type again in those fields. This can save you time and be convenient. So, for example, your password and usernames can be stored and recalled, but it is not advisable, guys. No? However, this is a security risk again when when you are using a shared or public computer, because other people could potentially access this information. To prevent against this, you need to disable certain autocomplete features. So I think you are familiar on how to use in Internet Explorer. They have tools, tools menu, click internet options, select the contents tab, click on setting button in the autocomplete section, then check or uncheck the appropriate options, then click OK to close the autocomplete setting dialog box. Okay. How about the cookies? A cookie is a piece of data stored by a website within a browser and then later sent back to the same website by the browser. So website use cookies to offer a personalized and consistent experience to user and to gather information about website use. So with a trusted website, cookies can improve your experience by allowing the site to learn your preferences or allowing you to skip having to sign in every time you use the site. However, some cookies such as those associated with advertising might put your privacy at risk by tracking site you visit. So again, you just simply click the internet option, select the privacy tab, and click advanced button. Of course, you need to check or uncheck the cookies options as required, then click OK. In clearing private data from a web server or from a web browser, how about if I want to clear my private data from a browser? So browser stores the following types of information on your computer or device. Temporary internet files, cookies, history of website you visited, information that you have entered into website or the address bar, and your saved web password. So if you use a public computer and do not want any your personal details to be left behind, you should delete this information. So you just simply click the tools menu, delete browsing history, Then we have the content control software. The content control software is designed and optimized for controlling what content a user is allowed to access when browsing the web. It also known as censorware or web filtering software. So types of filtering like client-side filters, This is the filter that is installed as a software on a personal computer or laptop and can be customized. The filter can be disabled only by someone with the password. And this application are often used by parents to control children access to inappropriate content on the internet. Another, of course, is the browser-based filters. This browser-based content filters is typically carried out by plugins that can be added to a browser. Most commonly, we accepted some plugins, especially in Google. How about the content limited or filtered ISPs? Some internet service providers open access to only a set portion of web content. The decision on what content can be accessed is made by the ISP and not the user. And of course, the search engine filters. Many search engines offers user the option of turning on a safety filter that filters out the inappropriate links from all of the search results. Okay, another, of course, is the social networking. So, it is familiar, right? Because social networks are excellent tools for meeting and engaging with friends, colleagues, and people sharing similar interests. They can be used for professional networking in job searches as a mean to generate sales revenue, as a way to express opinions, or as a way to chat with friends. However, there are security risks associated with using these online services. So you are familiar with Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, Instagram, what else, and so on. So in some cases, user feels a false sense of anonymity and may inadvertently share private information that can then be viewed by the public. So this is especially dangerous when children are involved. You should always be aware of not disclosing confidential information when you are on social networking sites. So example of confidential information include password, PIN numbers, and personal financial information. If you are engaging in social networking activities relating to your work, you also need to ensure that you do not disclose important company information, for example, like client details. Because disclosing such information could lead to personal information, company information, client information, or finances being stolen or misused. It is important to set appropriate account privacy settings. So if your account is public, everyone will be able to view your personal details. Therefore, you need to review and change your privacy settings to ensure that personal details are hidden. So other potential dangers when using social networking sites, cyberbullying or grooming, misleading or dangerous information, false identities, fraudulent link or messages. So cyberbullying is the use of internet and related technologies to harass, threaten, embarrass, or target an individual. Although often associated with children or young people, anyone can be subject to cyberbullying. Sometimes, cyberbullying can be easy to spot. Now, for example, a text message, tweet, or response to a social network comment that is harsh, mean, or cruel may constitute cyberbullying. Other forms of cyberbullying are less obvious, such as impersonating a victim online or posting potential damaging or revealing personal information online. How about the cyber grooming? No? Children and adolescents are increasingly involved in that online world, with many of them having multiple social networking accounts or profiles. And these profiles often contain personal information such as home address and phone numbers. So perpetrators can use this information to make contact with the child for malicious purposes, often pretending to be another child even if they are an adult. The perpetrator makes contact with a child, builds a relationship, and develops trust. Then the perpetrator then takes advantage of the trust to try to exploit them either sexually, and this is called cyber grooming. Okay. How about misleading or dangerous information? So be careful not to believe everything you read online. That's why in other countries, social network is not allowed. No? People may post false or misleading information about a range of topics, including their own identities. And they must not be done maliciously. However, you should try to verify the authenticity of any information before automatically believing it or taking any actions. The internet makes it easy for people to conceal their identities and motives. No, it may be sensible to restrict the people who are allowed to contact you on a social networks. If you do interact with people you do not know, be careful about the amount of information you reveal and be extremely cautious about meeting them in person. Okay? Fraudulent link or images or messages. No? Users of social networking services can send messages that may include embedded links to other social networks location or even outside sites. No? Social network spammers can use these tools to target a certain type of users or send messages from an account disguised as that of a real person. And these messages may include embedded links to pornographic sites or other sites designed to sell something. So it is also important to note that online abuse can be reported to the social network provider and possibly to a law enforcement agency if the incident is sufficiently serious. And that's it for secure web.